Welcome. I want to talk about testable documentation. I did a Google search on testable documentation and I found two classes of documents. One relating to behavior-driven development and a Python tool. That is not what I want. The problem I'm trying to solve is this. We write documentation to document a system. We want to be notified when the system changes significantly, to have tests to fail when the system changes significantly, so that I am forced to update my documentation. Here's my approach. There are Go tools called present and article. It's actually the present tool, but the format is .slide and .article that have this thing called a code link. And this is how it's used. It refers to a source file. It looks for the regular expression of a start piece of text and an end piece of text. For example, this. Now, let's say my function is something critical in my system and I change the name of my function. That's a big, significant change. Let's do that. I'll just append an A in there. And when I reload this presentation by pressing reload or F5, it fails. It tells me exactly where in my documentation it failed. And now it works again. Why is there a .slide format and a .article format? You are watching the output of a .slide file. I've written a sample article in test data, and now I will render it by following this link. It renders as an article, complete with table of contents, which are clickable links. Present is a good tutorial tool. Of course, it is good for presentations, self-paced learning tools, otherwise known as tutorials, and textbook of sorts, interactive textbook like Dummy's Guide to Getting Started with Something. Article can render a very long document, complete with table of contents. So it's good for user manuals, reference manuals, cookbooks like HTML, CSS recipes. When do you use link and when do you use code? In my use case, system documentation is the high-level architectural documentation. It describes all the services within my system. Within a service, there are code modules. Here I use code to tightly couple and tightly link my service documentation to my code. So as you have mentioned, code links are testable when this documentation is reloaded. Links do not immediately fail. They only fail when you follow or click on the link. So I just want to reiterate that code links can be used on any text file. Here I'm using it on my sample article. And it says testable documentation. And if I change the header to imagine this a doc string or something like that, or Java doc string or Perl doc string or Go doc string, and I change it because the content in here has changed, my module documentation will now fail, and it tells me exactly where it failed. It's good again. As usual, if you want to have the code to this presentation itself as a .slide file, as well as the code samples, the article sample, it's available on my GitHub page here. I am Siu Yin and I work for Zendit.